Well, I was meant to do a live stream, but plans changed. A bit restricted with time for a live stream per se. So I'm like, you know what? Let me do the extra work and put something together that is more edited. But nonetheless, I'm happy to do that. But looking at the two finals, the Euro final, Spain versus England, and the Copa America final, Colombia versus Argentina, or Argentina versus Colombia. I don't care which way you put it forward. Spain beat Italy. Argentina beat Colombia. I had said Spain to win within the 120 minutes. I got that one correct. I had said Colombia to win within 120 minutes. I got that one wrong because of their inept finishing. I mean, for all the good that Colombia did, having more shots towards goal, only a few on target, still not the best showing for Colombia, and they still wait for a major trophy after having in a long while, at least, if they haven't won one in ages. That actually know the history of Colombia, so forgive me, but I just know that in a very, very long time they have not had the best of times with South American football. But to look at some of the incident that happened before the game itself, because the game was of course delayed. There was hour and 20 minutes. I think it was almost like, a whole match in and of itself that was delayed. So to check things out here from foxsports.com.au, says earlier dozens of fans forced their way into Miami's Hard Rock Stadium hosting the Copa America final. As a result, it forced kickoff to be delayed by over an hour. Hundreds of fans queuing for the showpiece between Argentina and Colombia kept waiting behind the barriers, remained shut for more than an hour after they were scheduled to open at 5 p.m. local time. Security staff told the AFP that the gates had been closed because fans had attempted to force their way into the stadium whenever the gates had been opened. Now, this is something unfamiliar with many people, but very familiar with a lot of people, because even though not being South American myself, having South American family connections, being of Uruguayan descent and stuff like that, they've told me as well, like, South Americans, they don't really follow rules per se. If there's a chance to go in and watch their nation play, they will go in and watch their nation play. And that's not to say that they're terrible people, anything like that. It's just what they do. Says a police officer on site on the scene told AFP several fans had managed to rush into the stadium. Unclear if they had tickets for the match. Fans interviewed described chaotic scenes at the entrance. Some say it was crazy. People were just trying to get in like crazy. Says a Colombian fan from Gainesville in Florida. They didn't want to wait. They're just rushing over and running over. They've opened the gates 3 different times. It was good for 2 or 3 minutes, and then everybody was just rushing. Rosie Reales said fans had got increasingly frustrated at the failure to open the gates on time. People are just riled up and excited. They're pushing, and it's like mayhem. They should have opened the gates sooner to let people in slowly. The Athletics' Jack Lang said it was like a miracle fans behaved as well as they did while getting inside the venue. That was one of the worst things I've experienced after a football match or otherwise. Generally horrible. So many kids in tears, adults in their wits' end. Look, we've seen similar things. And please do not get it twisted. I'm not comparing this to anything like Hillsborough, okay? But when it comes to some things like this, when you're letting in X amount of people and you're not actually accounting for the amount of people going in there, you could have a potential disaster in the stadiums, which is why we have the rules in place now. Everyone needs to get checked. There's seating capacities and limits to how many people can be in an area and all that sort of stuff there. And I was seeing reports on Twitter as well that many people going in and were not even able to find their own seating. Like they said, I'll hell to pay if someone is in my seat when I've paid for a ticket and they haven't, sort of a thing, which I understand. But once a person's in your seat, try have a rumble with them, see how well you're going to go on there. Another comment says here, the incident comes amid heightened scrutiny of stadium security at the Copa following the brawl, which happened with Uruguay and Colombia at the end of the game the other day, when Darwin Nunez was in the crowd and all that sort of shit there. So we had that issue going on. But just to look at a few things here, bookmarks wise, this is something that I saw. I found it absolutely amazing. Copa America final, and people are trying to get in through the vents. We'll check that out in a moment. But this was madness. I mean,
what is going on here? People are getting into the Copa America through the ventilation system. What is
that's
going
desperation.
on here? What the heck?
That is desperation. That's desperation levels. I applaud the creativity, but I disavow the action. Marcela Bielsa, angry at the poor organization of the Copa America and the poor stadium fields. He says, quote, I'm tired of the lies. The camps are a disaster. Believe it did not train. The Americans were installing a field 3 days ago. He absolutely went off the rails, and some maybe will say rightfully so. There were a few fans amongst the crowd here. Even Alexis McAllister's mother, apparently, Sylvina, said that Alexis had to leave the locker room to assist his family to get them into the stadium, just by saying it was inhumane. Like, that's absolutely insane, where you can't even get your own family into a stadium that's meant to be state-of-the-art, top of the range, all that sort of shit. And a lot of people are blaming this on the Americans. A lot of people are saying America can't organize this. This is America's fault. America should not be hosting a World Cup, etc., etc. This was the madness throughout the day as well. Like, just turn it down a little bit. Like, look at this, just people everywhere. That does not look like there's any organization whatsoever. How do you check for these things? People just flowing through here. Which way? This way? That way? That is absolute madness. That is no crowd control whatsoever. People just making their way through. It's hard to tell who's going where and all that sort of shit there. It just absolute madness of an incident, of an occasion, shall we say. And we'll get to the England stuff, soon. But that image as well, like these two guys, honestly. But that is insane, man. The fact that we had this issue leading in there, and again, some people rightfully are saying, like, this isn't America, this is a CONMEBOL, the South American Association of Football. I think America is part of it as well, but it's not America per se, the USA. It's more so the Football Association. They didn't get things right. I mean, if you know what the people are going to be like, how do you not prepare in time for you to accommodate for these things and stop these things from happening? And there was people running around everywhere. I saw people having arguments. There was fights breaking out. There was people running away from the police. It was absolute bedlam. Here's another one here. Found another clip here. Let's quickly go over to this one here. It says, scary scenes is from Men in Blaze. The scary scenes in Miami as the gates are breached at the Hard Rock Stadium. Truly hoping the situation is safely resolved before kickoff. Look, people, just under. There we go. I don't see any tickets in their hands. That's absolute madness. Look at that. They're just running. Wow. And then they locked them again. Yeah, like they're chasing. Cops chasing them. Look at that. That's mad. That is madness. Look at these guys running through. Whoop. And then here comes the copper. And boom. Got him. They ripped the glasses. Effectively you are, coming into a stadium without a ticket. You haven't paid for the service, and other people just casually walking through. These guys laid into him hard, man. Look at that. God damn. He must have done something bad. So there you have it. Some absolute madness. If you want to host a World Cup, be prepared to not have shit like this happen. I don't know how you get things to be done in a better, proper way, but one thing is for certain, you need to double check your safety protocols and make sure people are going to be let in safely. Have a ticketing scanning system. Open the gates earlier if need be. Have extra staff present. I mean, I'm guessing this stadium, and they say as well, stadium hosts football. You host WrestleManias and you host the Super Bowl and all that sort of stuff, and they've never had any issues. But again, football is not NFL, okay? Especially when you got very, very passionate, heated South Americans, rivals at play. That's when you don't really want to have some issues in that sense there. But to take it back to an image that we saw just briefly here, Lionel Messi did get subbed in the 65th minute through injury. He copped something in the first half. I think it was in the second half, and then he couldn't continue on anymore, and his ankle was actually ballooned up. Like, his ankle was like a big balloon around the side there. And they were laughing at Ronaldo for missing his penalty last week. And it's like, when Messi was crying on the bench, it was like, oh, this is so heartbreaking. This is this, this is that. And then when Ronaldo was crying for missing his penalty, everyone's like laughing at him and saying like, what a crybaby, which I thought like, here we go. Like, Messi has to one-up Ronaldo. But then I thought to myself, okay, you know what? Ronaldo cried because he missed a penalty. Like, he was crying because he messed it up. Messi was crying because this could be my last tournament. Same with Ronaldo's, I should say. Last, tournament, continental, Euro for Ronaldo, the Copa for Messi. And he's like, I'm going to go out of this on injury. Not because he missed the penalty, not because, he did hit the, hit the crossbar in the penalty shootouts the other week. But, nonetheless, still Messi missing out through injury is not something you see very often, so I can understand why that would have been the case. And then there was another picture here from Centre Goals where it's saying 2024 has been a year of heartbreaks for both GOATs, and do not both go to us. I don't know who they're referring to, Both goats is cringe. Ronaldo, yes, Ronaldo, Messi nonsense. Who gives a crap? I don't care. They're both fantastic players, and yes, he won the Copa again. We get that and all that sort of stuff. But look, you know what? Ronaldo's crying because of his own selfish reasons. I missed the penalty. How dare I? I let my team down. Maybe we can say that. Messi crying because of an injury. I don't know, but that image is probably going to be around Messi for a long time to come. But even then, so as we see here, very happy, all smiles, having won the Copa America again. And also big ups to Alexis McAllister having won the Copa as well, being the Liverpool connection there. Luis Diaz coming in second, runners up, and Darwin Nunez getting his third place finish. And we don't even know what's going to happen with Diaz at the moment, because it could be absolute chaos when a potential ban comes in for him for his fighting within the crowd. So keep a lookout for that. So there you have Argentina 1-0, Lautaro Martinez in 112th minute in extra time. 5 goals in the Copa America off the bench for Argentina. But some men will have you believe that Phil Foden had a much better tournament than what Lautaro Martinez did, when Phil Foden is Agent 007, 0 goals, 0 assists, 7 games. And I have a fantastic meme to show you in case of this, which obviously now we are switching over to the Euro side of things. And thank you for watching if you are here. Appreciate you being here. Now let's have a look at the saves here. So this was an all-time banger here. So it's come again. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a new 007. They call me 007. 0 goals, 0 assists, 7 games. I think it used to be, was it Enzo Fernandez they pulled this out for? Now it's Phil Foden in the Euros. A lot of people have made light. Manchester City players without Guardiola went from getting Ballon d'Or shouts to a 007 player. Flop of the tournaments. Yeah, it's hard to argue against some of these comments. Yeah, it is very much hard to argue. We've got a Foden 007 before a GTA 6. Foden without Pep is like Israel without USA. Whew. Shows that Palmer clears him. That's cool and all, but yeah, no, it was dreadful when you all tackle Southgate, the real problem. But look, Phil Foden didn't do anything. Even when he played in the 10 role, didn't create anything. Had a shot, hit the outside of the posts, and then that was it pretty much. Arguably, his best performance was in the first half in the semi-final the other week against Switzerland. That was it. That was it. So there is Mr. 007 there. But you really have to look at some of the other players in this instance here. But when you look at the players, you also have to look at who they went through to get there along the way. But 35% possession in this game, 0.53 expected goals, 1.95 for Spain, which they got their 2 goals, 9 shots, 2 big chances missed. I mean, it's pretty piss poor for this England team. 2 big chances missed, outpassed, less fouls committed, but still nonetheless, I mean, the ultimate stat is this one up here, 2-1. 2-1. And the players, they did not perform anything like the superstars that we know they are. Let's not kid ourselves. We know they are good players. How Bellingham gets an 8.2, that is beyond me. He's been so... I mean, he gets an assist for that Palmer goal, but apart from that, like this game in particular, like no expected goals, nothing on that attack. 51 touches, like he had a shot off target, 2 opposition touches in a box, which is double what Kane did. 2 passes into the final third, 2 long balls. I mean, really, out of all, dribble pass 3 times, 8 recoveries, 9 defensive actions, intercepted once, headed twice, clearance twice. Like, really, this is how you're gonna base this guy? An 8 out of 10? Seriously? Holy shit! Kane was absolutely honking. Saka didn't have a great game. Maina was okay, but then he got hooked. Foden, absolute trash. Stones, Guehi, Shaw starting, Walker getting skinned. Actually, let's move over to Walker here. There's a thing here from Twitter. It says fans question double standard on Walker, saying in a recent football match, Kyle Walker faced criticism for his performance as he was deemed responsible for both goals conceded by England. Many users on social media expressed their disappointment, with some highlighting a perceived double standard in the treatment of Walker compared to Trent Alexander-Arnold, suggesting that Trent would have faced harsher criticism for similar mistakes. The discussion also touched on the broader issues of team selection and defensive strategies. So obviously that is an AI thing generated from this grok thing that Twitter has. But as you can see, Goldbridge, don't ever tell me Kyle Walker isn't just pace, both goals on him. The Liverpool fans, the player agendas are going to be out in force here. I don't like it when it comes from fans of my own team that I support, but here we are. Walker responsible for both goals. You can't write this script. Trent didn't touch the pitch and Walker was at fault for both goals? Question mark. Yes, he was. Walker has cost England for 3 out of 4 last tournaments, but the English media tells us Trent can't be trusted. Walker, you have blood on your hands. I mean, I want to be looking at highlights right now. England's approach after Palmer's equaliser is absolutely ridiculous. You've got the initiative. Yeah, they always fall back into the shell. That definitely did happen. Kyle Walker defies age with lightning speed. 16 hours ago, apparently. 16 hours ago, yeah? Questioning the limits, yeah? Well, question this. Trent could cost England a knockout game. Kyle Walker has cost England again. Apparently, he cost them in the final against Italy as well. An Evertonian, irony of not playing Trent over Walker because of his defensive ability, and then Walker being at fault for both goals whilst contributing nothing going forward. Gareth Bin Southgate. Walker got caught not once, but twice. And we weren't all told that Trent was the liability defensively. Gary Neville talk about Trent and his defending again after his disaster class from Walker. I could keep on going on and on and on. So, Kyle Walker responsible for both goals then. Stinking game. Obviously, he's not there to create the chances, but I think still Trent would have given you something. You would have bombed up the pitch. You maybe would have had a bit of interplay with Saka. There maybe would have been a bit of a 1-2. Yeah, could have had a cross into the box. But of course, Kane wouldn't have been in the box because Kane is also arse. I mean, one touch in a final for Harry Kane? Are you shitting me? One touch. The whole final. Where is this here? I've got it here. I've got the stat. Here we go. Trent again. Life is simple. You bench Trent. I don't know about that. You just don't know what's going to happen. This player agenda shit's out of control. This one here. Harry Kane only managed one touch in the opposition box across the last 2 Euro finals. 2 finals against Italy and against Spain. One touch in the final opposition box. That is mad. Did Gareth Southgate's tactics get the best of the English star? Hell no, they didn't. Yeah, you mad. Southgate and his favourites. Tournament, Harry looked off it, massively off it. Kane isn't good enough anymore, championship player at best. And he's only, 31, 32 years old, maybe 33. I mean, top goal scorer, in Premier League, in the Bundesliga as well, but going there, not winning anything. Everyone questioned that. I thought, okay, how the hell do you go to a club that's like literally wins at least one thing every season, 11 in a row, Bundesligas, and then you go there and they don't win it. Like absolute madness, insane shit there. But I have to go through to Football Terrace. This is the one here. Yep. Shout out to Terry and the Football Terrace. They had a bit of a discussion on Harry Kane and his ability. Has he dropped off it? Let's have a quick listen.
He's not a left winger. We can all agree he ain't a left bloody winger. And you look at it and you're going, well, we're trying to do something with the ball. And the amount of times I watched the game with German commentators. We had David there that's translating. And the amount of times that I saw, especially on the right-hand side, Saka and Foden get the ball, and translating from German into English was, why are they giving the ball to players that have no outlet options? So you're giving it to them when they're in a cul-de-sac, and they've got no choice but to essentially boot it long. That is a system issue, in my personal opinion, that all starts with Harry Kane and his inability to run, 0 legs. And where he was a big coward is, I have to admit, as a fan watching, I was nervous about it, going, I don't know if we shouldn't. But I'm a fan. At the end of the day, the man is paid 5, 6, 7 million pounds a year to make these decisions. And Harry Kane just played 60 odd minutes of a final. And the only thing he did was the coin toss. The only part of the game that he participated in was the fucking coin toss. It's absolutely ridiculous. I love Harry Kane as a player, but he looks like he's gone through what Casemiro went through. It's like his body's fallen off this year. He looked like he was running through treacle wearing concrete boots. And that, for me, had a knock-on effect to everybody else in the team.
So I can't argue with what he's saying when your focal point, your number 9 at the pinnacle, is playing second defensive mid, trying to get on the ball because he's not getting the ball, because when the crosses are coming in, he ain't there because, hell, I haven't touched the ball yet. All Harry Kane's job should be is be in the box, expect a cross, and just try and get it on target and score a goal. That's all he should be doing. But Harry Kane being Harry Kane, he can't help himself. He has to be the number 10. He has to be the playmaker. But you're not there to be a playmaker. They got other players in the squad to be the playmaker. We have debates. We have arguments. Who should be the playmaker? Should it be Palmer? Should it be Foden? Should it be Bellingham? You know, like which player should be playing in this position here? And by the by, Palmer streets ahead of Foden in this tournament, no doubt. Foden at least got himself an assist. Palmer's got himself an assist and a good goal to equalise the game. Foden's done absolutely nothing. And you can say it's not his fault, he's playing on the left side. Okay, but do something. If you are that good of a player, where's your individuality? Where's your little, shimmy, shift across and then bang, hit top bins? We didn't see any of that. He tried against Switzerland, came close. If that had gone in, everyone would have said, okay, there's the Phil Foden that we know. There's the Phil Foden that we see on a week-to-week basis in the Premier League, in the Champions League. There he is. But we ain't seen that. Again, 007. So Palmer over Foden in this tournament at least. Okay, I'm not going to die on the hill of Palmer's better than Foden or vice versa, but in this tournament, Palmer has been better, more effective than what Foden has been in terms of winning games. Because like people say, it's a knockout competition. You're not there to try and win over 38 games. You just want to win over 7 games. You win your 3 in your group stages, you win your second round, you win your quarters, you win your semis, and then hopefully you win your final, and then you're done and dusted. But was not to be. So it's an interesting conversation on Harry Kane. Is Harry Kane going to be the player that is going to step down? Are we going to see a new striker come in? I mean, he had Ivan Toney, he had Ollie Watkins. Watkins equalizer. No, not the equalizer, the winner, sorry. Last week. In the semi-final, of course, and if we look at the way that they actually made their way through, against the Netherlands, who scored in the 90th minute there. Before that, they had the 1-1 against Switzerland, winning on penalties. Then before that, they beat Slovakia 2-1 in extra time, and they were struggling against Serbia, struggling against Slovenia. When you look at Spain, though, they beat Georgia 4-1. They beat Germany 2-1. I think it was an extra time goal there. And then they beat France 2-1 as well. And then they beat, England 2-1. So arguably much tougher opposition in Germany and France, former World Cup and Euro winners. Whereas England, the toughest team they faced was the Netherlands. And arguably they got lucky with the penalty. And also with a bit of luck where things just went their way. A swivel, a hit from Ollie Watkins, and bang, into the back of the net it went. So Spain definitely had the harder route forward. So again, you have to look and say, is Harry Kane the issue as to why they didn't get as far as they probably should have? Yes, the whole team didn't really perform. We've seen the back line, we've seen the midfield, we've seen the forward line. Southgate as well. Southgate, the main culprit in all this, just to bring this back home again to where we need to be. Goldbridge was not happy about this Gareth Southgate situation at all from the start. What's this? 645,000 views. And people say, why do you listen to Goldbridge? Well, because he's got 1.23 million subs on one channel, 1 million plus on another, and 1 million plus on another. Arguably, he's the loudest voice in fan football. And some will argue that he's not fan football anymore. He's mainstream, he's this, he's that, whatever. Still, as an independent fella, he is still the largest. So let's see what he had to say here.
Absolutely gutted. Absolutely gutted. England lose again, their second Euros final in a row. And look, I just feel bad for everybody that wanted England to win. That's absolutely gutting. I mean, how many times in history has a team lost 2 Euros finals in a row?
Never. That was the first time, and it happened to be for England and Gareth Southgate.
That has to be the end of Southgate. We've got to get real about nepotism, favouritism, politicalness, or whatever you want to call it, because we have got an amazing selection of players. I said at Christmas that we should win this Euros despite Southgate. Not because of him. He is a bad coach with bad tactics. I'm going to go through some home truths here. You're going to get some comments in. But for the love of God, please do not keep this guy for the next 2 years. Because if we do, I ain't watching England anymore. It's a fucking waste of time. There's no point in doing it. This is competitive sport. It's not school sports day where everybody gets a chance. This is competitive sport. Get rid of the guy who picks favourites. This has been a shit show from start to finish. If we'd scammed the tournament, we'd all have been happy, but we were always right. The football was shit, the tactics were shit, the selections were shit, and for some reason, we made big mistakes all the way through. And none more so than bringing Cole Palmer and Ollie Watkins on, getting back to 1-1, and then going defensive again.
That is a Gareth Southgate master stroke. You score an equaliser, you're on the front foot, get yourself a second goal, put the pressure on there, have him fumble, have him panic, have him buckle. No, we scored a goal, let's defend again, let's draw him out, let's hit him again. What is this nonsense, man? What is this nonsense from Southgate?
And letting Spain win it. The misuse of these players is incredible. We have got world-class players. We have got a world-class squad. If you look at that Spain squad and you look at the England squad, if you look at that Spain starting 11 and you look at the England starting 11, ours is better on paper. But if you haven't got a good coach, you may as well be Luxembourg, because...
That's a scathing comment. You may as well be Luxembourg. Holy shit. God damn. Well then, in terms of all of that, even on the bench, like, a lot of bench players here. I mean, look at that. England had Bowen, Gordon, Eze, Gallagher, Wharton, Trent, Dunk, Trippier, Gomez, Konza, Henderson. That's the goalkeeper, Henderson, Ramsdale. On the bench, Spain, Ramiro, Raya, again. Starting goalkeeper for Arsenal, Grimaldo, Vivian, Jesus Navas, Baena, Lopez, Ferran Torres, Joselu. That is a very underwhelming bench. I see more players that are more effective in this England bench than in this Spain bench here. But even the players that came on, Zubamendi, Oyarzabal, who scored the winning goal there, Nacho Fernandez, Marino, Watkins, Palmer, Tony. I mean, he puts on Ivan Toney with, 1 minute left. He puts on Palmer with 20 to go. He puts on Watkins with 30 to go, and he put him on in place of Kane, who was absolute dog shit. But even on the pitch here, Morata's 33, 34. He's the starting striker. Nico Williams, one of the youngsters. Fair enough. Cucurella playing for Chelsea in his mid-20s. Laporte is also in his mid-late 20s. Don't know who Lenormand is. Carvajal is like pushing like mid-30s now, surely. Surely he's 32. So you're close enough. 32. Simon plays for Athletic Club. I mean, we're used to seeing goalkeepers playing for like Barcelona and shit in here, man, or like Man City or some shit, but ain't nothing happening there. Rodri got injured, yet to come off, obviously, City. Is this Fabian Ruiz, again, PSG? Like, this isn't like the Spain of Barcelona and Real Madrid combined here. Look at this. You've got RB Leipzig here. You've got Athletic Bilbao. There's Barcelona. Lamine Yamal, who won the Young Player of the tournament, absolutely bossed it out there. Morata's 31 years. 31? I could have sworn he was fucking older than that. The guy's been playing forever. Holy shit. He's playing for Atletico Madrid. Nico Williams as well. The youngster, 22, Athletic Club. Like, this is where your players are coming from here. When you look at this here, Kane, Bayern Munich. Foden, Man City. Saka, Arsenal. Maino, United. Rice, Arsenal. Bellingham, Real Madrid. Shaw, United. Gahey, Palace. Stones, City. Walker, City. Pickford, Everton. Like, bro, it's not to say the clubs are better than the Spanish clubs, but realistically, if you're looking at this, you're like, holy shit, look at the players that that's the teams that these players play for. They're not playing for, like, rubbish. Like, you can argue Palace is not of the levels at the other clubs, neither is Everton, but ultimately, everyone else is quality. Let's look at the bench. Watkins at Villa, Palmer at Chelsea, Tony at Brentford, Ramsdale on the bench at Arsenal, Henderson, where's he at these days? I forget where he's at. He's at Palace. He's the Palace goalkeeper, yeah, with Gahey. Konza's at Villa, if I'm not mistaken. Gomez at Liverpool. Trippier, Newcastle. Lewis Dunk is at Brighton, I think. Trent at Liverpool. Wharton at Palace. Gallagher at Chelsea. Eze at Spurs. Gordon at Newcastle. Bowen at West Ham. Like, this is madness. Like, absolutely, like, they're not shit players, but Southgate just does not play the players where they need to be played. A lot of debate that's gone on between Bellingham and Foden and Palmer and who plays where, and should Kane be the striker, should Trent be at right back, and everything else in between. Absolute madness. Like, Goldbridge is right. Like, the squad is better on paper. Everyone has said England have a great squad on paper, but when it comes to the field, absolute dog shit. And I think Gareth Southgate has spoken about a little bit as well. Let's have a quick listen to what he has to say, excuses-wise.
point, if you like, within that. But I think in the main, at the end of the game, the physical issues that we had probably took their toll. There were 4 or 5 players that we probably would ideally have refreshed at that point. We were very close just before the goal went in. We were trying to get Gallagher on for Bellingham because he was suffering with cramp.
Wow.
So, as I said, in the end, I don't think we had the energy, and that was because of all the factors I've already mentioned.
Didn't have the energy because of all the factors I've already mentioned. This man said that the players were not fit. He said the players were not fit. Let's have a quick listen again. Let's speed this up. Physical toll, here we go. Harry Kane's fitness.
Not a tournament too far, but I think so many of our players came in to the camp having missed the end of the season. We've managed to get Luke through a 90 minutes when he hasn't played for 4 months. We've had...
I see, but this is this is a problem. Why would you bring a player that isn't fit and then start him in the final when he has not been up to speed with the tournament itself? He played a half in the last game, looked absolutely gassed in the 50th, 60th minute, and then you start him in the second game and you play him. I don't understand that logic. Like, the man came injured. Why would you bring injured players when you had fit players that stayed back in England? Why would you do something like this? And if Harry Kane was injured, why the fuck did you play him and not play Ivan Toney or Ollie Watkins from the start in some games?
Kobe is a young player who's done incredibly well. But the amount of football he's had this year, Jude, you could see we were about to take off because he looked, he was cramping as well. So that physical toll was definitely an issue for us with others in the group as well. But of course, that's exacerbated when you don't keep the ball earlier in the game. So yeah, look, there was a lot stacked against us tonight in terms of having a day less to recover from the previous game and having had the extra time periods that we did. But we have to hold our hands up. Spain were better, and
yes, they were.
That is the long and short of it.
What waffle? Absolute wafflings, man.
Just one shoot, certain ball contact.
One shot in the contact in the box here.
No, I think that Harry has come into the tournament having had an injury at the end of the season. He's played.
Wait, so Harry's had an injury at the end of the season and he's played him in every single game, started him in every single game, and now he's saying, well, he had an injury, which is why he didn't play so well. Again, why the fuck did you play him then? Or are you just covering his ass because he's had such a shit tournament because of your footballing instruction, or maybe because of Kane's own poor performances? Now he's covering his ass. He came in injured. Why play an injured player? Please, someone explain to me, please.
A lot of minutes. We've tried to manage those minutes as well as we could. He's led the team incredibly well. We've lost a lot of leadership from the group with the injuries to Henderson and Maguire, so a lot has fallen on Harry's shoulders. He's done that exceptionally well. We just felt that we needed to get more pressure on their centre-backs and to have the option of a runner in behind, which was why we put Ollie Watkins on when we did.
Gentleman on the right, sir.
Madness. Absolute madness. What's the question?
Look, I think the team have done the country proud. They've reached the first final.
I don't have to have done the country proud, man. I've seen a lot of people not happy. I've seen a lot of people linking it, man. Like, if I go... Nah, it's actually not fair. Like, if I go to TalkSport, everyone's ripping them to shreds on TalkSport. But, like, look, I just want to wrap things up here. I'm 37 minutes, long video. I said I wasn't going to do a live stream. Might as well have done a live stream. But, look, this is it here, right? This is it here. This is the main thing here. This guy, Lamine Yamal, young player of the tournament. A 17-year-old dunked on Harry Kane in his first major tournament, yeah? First major tournament, dunked on already. He was awarded the best young player of the tournament at Euro 2024, achieved the recognition by creating the most chances, open play chances, and big chances in the tournament. Yamal also equaled the most goals and assists and provided the most assists at Euro 2024. So was it equal golden boot with Cody Gakpo? I think Cody Gakpo won the golden boot, so big up to Cody Gakpo. And said equaled the most goals. Yep. Achievement makes him the youngest player to win the Euros. So youngest player to win a Euros. Fair play to Lamine Yamal. Absolutely bossed it. Scored a cracking goal as well the other week. Was against France. So you can't argue against that. And there was a tweet here from Mons. Yeah. Shout out to Mons. It says, Kane let a Ute in year 11 lift the trophy before him. 41,000 likes. Absolute madness. He's an absolute failure. He deserves nothing. He let Olmo chat the most and didn't even have a shot. Who's he talking about? Kane? Is he talking about Kane? Possibly Kane. I can't think of anyone else he's talking about. Year 12, whatever. Specialty in failure. Jose Mourinho is actually year 12. Whatever, man. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. School kids got better careers than England's greatest. Yeah. It doesn't matter. Year 11, year 12. Who gives a shit? Semantics, bro. Literally, like, big up Mons. Kane led a Ute in year 11 or year 12 lift a trophy before him. That's absolute madness. So shout out to him. And also Rodri got player of the tournament as well. So big ups to Rodri for that one there. I'm pretty sure I saw a link of that somewhere on there. So yeah, big ups. Rodri, again, best DM in world football right now. I mean, there was a shout to say Bellingham would win the Ballon d'Or if he had won the Euro, but now that Rodri's won the Euro, surely this one's in a shout for Ballon d'Or. But again, Messi with the Copa, I mean, are they going to try and rig another one to Messi? And that's not to say I hate Messi, but realistically, I mean, if there's a player that's deserving to win something, I mean, look, you know, Premier League won a Champions League the year before that. Obviously, Madrid won it last year. That's why they may be thinking of giving it to Bellingham. Coming second, La Liga, player of the season, Champions League. I don't know, man. To me, it just seems like Rodri's just actually outperformed him, but it could be difficult. Could be between Bellingham and Rodri. We shall see what happens. But that's the video here. A bit of a long one here, looking at the chaos in Miami for the Copa final, and also looking at the England for that. And Spain, look, big ups to Spain. Yeah, 2-1. People might say, why don't you speak more about Spain? Because the England situation is much more interesting. It's much more entertaining because there's a lot more to dissect from that. Yeah, so Spain were fantastic. Fair place to them. Well done. Their manager won with the under-19s, under-21s, and now with the first team, if I'm not mistaken. So what else is there to say apart from that? I mean, ain't nothing else to it, man. Like, fair plays to them. Yeah, Luis de la Fuente, the guy won the under-19s. Here we go here. Let's just quickly look over here at the achievements here. So coach of the under-19s, under-21s, under-23s, and the national team for the last year. And he's won shit throughout the years. So, you know what I mean? Nothing to it. UEFA under-19s championship, 2015 with Greece. UEFA 21 championship. Nations League, so I think it was with Italy. That's the trophies he's got there. So coaching Greece, Italy, and the Spanish, I think, national team it is. So there you go. There you have it. So doing a madness there. So big ups to him. Gareth Southgate, absolute failure. Expect nothing but the worst coming his way from the media. And yeah, that's all I have to say about that. Big ups to all you fine people out there. Timestamps down below if you got that far. I'm all spoken out.
End the stream, Dave! End the stream! End it, blood! End it now!